LSU and Florida. LSU wins 20-10 over the mistake-ridden, cursed Florida Gators. Look, LSU gets a good win. Any win in the SEC, at home, it's got to happen. And that's what LSU did. They come out, they get the job done. They beat the Gators 20-10 with a little bit of help from the other team, really. A lot of help from DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway, 5 interceptions. Look, I stated in the preview and prediction video, and it couldn't have been any more apparent in this football game that DJ Lagway did not look comfortable in this system. He's had happy feet. He's looked rushed. He's just looked all out of sorts. Mentally, physically, in the pocket, his throwing motion, everything. He just has not looked the same, nor has he looked confident or comfortable. And to come into Death Valley under the lights and this atmosphere with your back well, not even against the wall, damn near through the wall after losing to USF, is just such a tall task. And Billy did him no favors. The schemes and the sets, I just don't understand it. Any route that Florida tries to run is usually at least 4 to 6 seconds in development. It's like a 5-step drop before anybody even branches off their route. And if it's not that, it's either Hayden Hansen or Tony Livingston, just a quick 5-yard out, some kind of a short flood or a strong flood concept that usually any kind of a zone coverage is going to be right there to make the play on. Look, it's so tough. Again, Jaden Baugh completely underutilized. You would think, hey, maybe we eliminate some of this if maybe Tramel Jones comes in and we just give Lagway a mental breather. Nothing whatsoever. The Gators, yet again, had every opportunity to be in this football game, and yet mistakes killed them. Now, look, this one is not entirely on Billy Napier, so let me just set that record straight. I'm not here to say that this one is unequivocally Napier's fault, but again, even Napier admitted it in his press conferences that he has got to do a better job of putting his guys in a position to win the game, or better yet, as a coach, understanding when one of your guys is not made or built for this current position within the game. Look, and I'm not calling for Lagway to be benched for the rest of the year, but maybe, hey, coach, let's get a new spark. Let's just put Tramel in, or whoever the backup is. I believe is Tramel Jones. Let's put someone else in and just give them a chance. Let's just see what happens, and DJ can still be our guy. He can come back next week. Maybe let's just give him a series off, and then we'll go from there. Next week's practice, we'll worry about the relationships and the friendship, and yet we continue to throw him out there when the camera pans to him, and it's like he's holding back tears. And look, my heart breaks for him, okay? I don't ever want to see a guy go out there and do that, especially not the high school or college level. Like, these are still young men. But Billy just did him no favors. Like, it almost encouraged the humiliation. So that's really it for the Gate. I mean, this defense has given up 2 touchdowns in the first 3 games of the football season, and they sit at 1-2. So just brutal luck for that Gators defense that has done everything they can. It's not ideal. Now, for LSU, look, like I said, the X factor was Blake Baker's defense, and they forced 5 turnovers. So again, props to Blake Baker. Some of the pressures and looks that he showed Lagway just had him in a blender. So we're going to do a separate video on those 5 interceptions and really what LSU's defense was doing. And to be quite honest, if I had to articulate it, it really wasn't anything crazy. It really wasn't. They showed pressure and they sent pressure. They didn't disguise a whole lot there in the second half, and they felt like they didn't need to. Florida couldn't even handle what was being given to them, even if LSU showed their cards, showed the blitz, showed the coverage, showed how many single high, double high safety, cover 1, cover 2. Whatever Blake Baker wanted to do, his defense executed. And that's a big thing in coaching, is execution. And that's exactly what his defense did. Defensive line looked good. Florida wasn't really able to run the ball. Lagway didn't have a ton of time. But then again, it's underutilization from Florida, and LSU just taking advantage and reaping the benefits that Florida allowed them to. So as for LSU's offense, Brian Kelly got very heated about this, and understandably so to a small extent. I understand a win is a win, and at the end of the day, you get paid to win football games. It doesn't matter how you do them, and when people look back, I'm not looking at a box score. If LSU were to go 13-0 this year, I'm not looking back at the box score and saying, well, they had starting field position here and here, and the offense only had 190 some, which they didn't. They had more than that. But you get what I'm saying, right? I'm not going back and looking at the box score. If they go 13-0, they go 13-0. But when things start to go downhill, it looks as though currently that offense is going to be the first to blame. I did not like the game that Joe Sloan called at all. It really didn't have any kind of utilization until maybe the second half when he finally got Aaron Anderson on some shallow crossing routes. He created either an empty backfield, created a little bit of traffic underneath, and slipped Aaron Anderson through a little bit of pick and rub routes, some mesh concepts here and there, is when they finally started to move the ball. Same thing with Bauer Sharp. But other than that, it just felt like there was no design at all. Caden Durham in that run game was just stuffed. The offensive line played a terrible game, all things considered. I did not like the way they played. Nussmeier with the interception, just not a decision you're used to seeing him make, especially not this late into his college experience. So it was a sloppy offensive performance, quite honestly. Very sloppy. So I understand the question, and if you're not sure what I'm referring to or why I'm stating this, is Brian Kelly got this question at his post-game press conference. Like, hey, what's the deal with, great win, but what's the deal with the offense? And he was very defensive in that. Why are you asking me this question? We won the football game. So, again, hey, I get it. BK won. LSU won. It's something to be proud of. It's progress. But clearly, if he doesn't state it, we all know that offense needs to be touched up. And Joe Sloan's going to have to start to figure it out. There's way too much talent on that offense for it to be that sluggish and just really inconsistent. So, curious to see what LSU does offensively. But, hey, the Tigers are undefeated. They're 3-0.